Hi guys, welcome. It's me, Pavel Buja, and I have a new guest today, David Kirkop.
That's right.
I pronounced that right. Awesome. And you're a game designer, if I remember correctly.
Yes, I am. You remember well.
Which is super cool because there's one thing that I know about you that for me is like super awesome, that you're working on Gwent, but you used to work and you kind of still work on board games, which is like super interesting because your background is totally different, which gives you a very unique look at the cards. And you're responsible for Old Spear Tip, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that was one of my designs.
One of my favorite cards. Okay, as you guys probably see, the background is totally different. We have a new studio. We have cool props like the sword that I'm holding. Yeah, and all our streams will be done from this place now, moving forward, and I really like it. Welcome to the chat. I see a lot of people. I see JJ Pasak, so feels good, man. See you. Nice to see you. And I'll tell you what we'll be doing today. So, as you already saw today, we posted information regarding moving to public beta. You know that it's going to be May 24th, and with it, we're going to have the game on PC, Xbox, and PS4, which you all have been waiting for, because I know a lot of people are waiting for PS4. And we're going to do a reset. So first we'll talk about the reset. We'll talk about the rewards that will come after this, which you already talked about a bit, but we have some new things which we want to show you. We'll talk about the end of the season and the rewards that come with it. We'll also talk about a new currency in Gwent, which is meteorite powder. But for that, we'll use a video of my favorite dynamic duo, Marcin and Jason, Jason and Marcin. All right. And then we'll go to the part where you will be the man responsible for telling what's going on. So changes to balance and also new features that we're introducing into the game, because we have a ton of new things. As you guys probably saw, we were quiet for some time, but now we're back and we have a lot to go through. So I hope you'll enjoy the stream. We'll try to keep it not too long, but also not too short. So maybe let's move straight into what will happen. So May 24th, we start public beta, but on May 22nd, the most important thing is that we will be working on the game. So the servers will be shut down for that time. So for 48 hours, we'll be working. You can, of course, check out our social channels on Facebook, Twitter, when we'll be talking about what is happening, if we're on track and everything's going good. I see someone wrote we're late. I know we're 2 minutes late, but it should be fine. Yeah, so moving on to rewards.
Yes.
I might be a little bit hectic today, so bear with me. All right, so for participating in the beta, as you see, you get your kegs back, the ones which you purchase with real money. You also get 2 kegs for every 5 levels, and you get 2 kegs for each rank. Also, you'll get season rewards, but we'll get to that later. Before that, I wanted to say that there are some new items that you will receive. Of course, you know already about the premium Geralt card, which is totally different. Well, maybe not totally, it's a bit different.
It's a little bit different, yeah, we'll talk about that soon.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. You will get the Pioneer title, which is exclusive for people who participate in closed beta. And you'll get the classic Geralt avatar, which is featuring Geralt from Witcher 1.
It looks so different there.
Yeah, it looks totally different. Moving on. These are the season rewards. So this is also something that you will be getting. Based on the rank you have, you will receive a reward, which is a title and a border. So if you're... wow, that was quick. We could probably go back to that, yeah. If you're rank 1 to 3, you'll get a novice title and border, but if you're rank 13, 14, or 15, you'll get this awesome border that features a knight and has really cool stuff attached to it. And all the ones in between, you will get different borders. Yeah, so we can move on to the next screen. Okay, I know a lot of you are going crazy and you're climbing the ladder, and I see Garuna at the top and everybody, they're all kind of, you know, trying to see who will be number 1. And it actually matters because you also receive a new title and you also receive a new border. And these borders are pretty exclusive because what they do feature and others don't is that they have particle effects attached to them. So there will be something going on around them, which I think is super interesting. That's it. These things, we'll get them out on social media so you guys can look at them, analyze it. Most importantly, on Monday in the morning, when we start shutting everything down on the servers before we start doing the reset, you should be pretty much ready on when you are placed in the leaderboard. So you have a weekend pretty much to go crazy, right? To play a lot of Gwent. Yep. All right. I also said that we're going to talk about the new currency in the game, which is meteorite powder. But in order to do that, as promised, we'll show you a video of the dynamic duo, let's say, Marcin and Jason. So here we go.
Hey guys, Jason Slama here, lead programmer for Gwent, and with me is...
Marcin Momot, community lead here at CD Projekt Red.
And we want to take a little bit of time out of our schedules to talk to you guys about some of the coming changes for the public beta. And,
yes, big changes, lots
big,
of
big
changes.
Yeah, and the first thing that I think we should talk about is the fact that we'll be releasing the premium version of every single card in-game, and wow.
Yeah, that's big news.
The guys have been working so hard, from animators to modelers to audio designers. These things are going to be awesome.
Yeah, and if you are interested in learning more about the process of creating those premium cards, make sure to check out the link in the description of this video. It's really insightful and it's a lot of fun to watch.
I liked it. I thought it was a really good video.
Yeah, definitely got to check that out. Speaking of premiums, Jason, the word on the street is there are some big changes coming up.
Where the hell did you hear that?
Meetings.
Meetings?
Yes.
Well, it's true. We'll be introducing a new currency for public beta called meteorite powder, a name I actually kind of like because, you know, it kind of reflects that awesome crafting material from the Witcher universe.
Meteorite power, you know?
Yeah, power of the meteorite. And these will be used to upgrade your existing non-premium version of cards to their visually badass premium version.
Why are we introducing this currency? I'm sure a lot of players will ask.
Well, I mean, considering all the hard work, both from a technical side and from an artist side, to bring these premiums to life in the player's game, we want players to be able to get them easier. And with this currency, the ability for you to get that premium that you want, that really badass Geralt Igni or whatever card you prefer, should be much easier than before. Oh, I love it.
All right, and how does it work?
Well, it's rather simple. It can be, again, divided into 3 categories. The crafting is exactly like before, right? You just spend your scraps, you can get the premium, non-premium version. It's based off rarity. Premiums are always more expensive. None of that has changed. You will get meteorite powder from the milling of your premium cards, regardless of how you got that premium card. And again, with this new meteorite powder, you'll be able to take an existing non-premium card that you own and convert it into premium. And again, the costs here will vary based off rarity.
All right, and what happens to the standard card when you upgrade it to the premium version?
It gets destroyed.
All right.
You know, again, to prevent abuses in our system, we just destroy the non-premium version and you get the badass premium version. I mean, who would want to go in the opposite direction?
Oh,
right?
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely. Question time then.
Yeah.
You mentioned milling premium cards is one of the ways to get that meteorite powder.
Yes.
Any other ways to get it?
Yeah, of course. There's lots of ways to get meteorite powder. I mean, there's level up rewards, so we'll be resetting the levels with public beta. And, you know, that means we get a chance to redefine those. And in some of the level ups, you'll be getting a nice little chunk of meteorite powder to help you get the premium you want. You'll be able to get meteorite powder in your rank up rewards as well as your end of season rewards. You'll be able to purchase them if that's what you really want to do. And you'll be also able to get them through the daily rewards. So like previously, you could get ore, scraps, or a card for daily rewards, and we'll just be adding in a chance to get meteorite powder instead.
Anything else you'd like to share with us today, Jason?
Yeah, so before the public beta, in the collection, the default filter was to hide the premium cards, and that was okay when we didn't have so many of them to show, but now that they're all in there, players can expect that default filter to change to showing both premiums and non-premiums side by side.
I know a lot of people will be happy about that change.
Yeah, and another thing that we're adding in that we're hoping players will really appreciate is we're adding a new menu. Right? If you go next to settings, there should be a new panel that lets you see all the rewards. What each level will give you, how the daily rewards
really
work.
Cool.
what the rank up rewards are going to be, and even what the end of season rewards are going to be.
That's really nice. You'll be able at any time to basically look up what you're about to get with the next level up.
Exactly. It just helps us communicate with our community exactly what they can expect.
Nice. And what is that nice little thing up there in the top right corner of the screen?
Well, I mean, it's nice to know when your daily rewards will reset so you can plan ahead. So if you ever want to check them, well, there they are. You can just go into this menu and they'll be right there.
So Jason, I hear you have something very special for us today.
Yeah, I managed to wrangle the rights from the artists to show off some of their work right now.
Oh,
and
cool.
So let's take a look at some of the cards they've been working
Nice.
on. Here's Restore.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
And you can see like the flesh coming in on the card.
Yeah, the effect is really nice.
It's really beautiful. The other one I wanted to show is Assassination.
Oh.
To me, it's exciting that they took like such a static image, a corpse, and just somehow brought it to life, and very entertaining and like
Brutal, very brutal.
it's beautiful to me. And the next that I wanted to show off was Odrin.
Yeah, who doesn't love Odrin?
I mean, just drinking, and he just looks so happy, you know, with his 2 mugs in his hands. It brings so much energy in a card.
This card is very joyful.
Yeah. The next is, I know a lot of the community wanted to see the Nithral version premium. It's pretty nice. I mean, I don't have much else to say other than that explosion coming out it keeps me excited. And here's Dennis CRANMER fighting off 2 dwarfs, you know, keeping them apart.
Yeah, you can see the struggle. It's real.
The struggle is real. And lastly, is one of my favorite ones is MERCENARY. I mean, come on.
Look at the fight with the griffin.
I mean, I feel like he's actually stabbing it in the head.
Yeah, and the griffin is putting one hell of a fight.
I don't know. I think to me it's a great example of, you know, our artists bringing in a card to life. And that's it for now, guys. That's all we have to share with you for now. Of course, there's going to be lots of interesting, exciting new features coming with public beta on top of this, and we can't wait for you guys to try it out and let us know what you think.
Yeah, if you have any comments, any feedback, please leave it in the comments section below.
Yep.
And also, don't forget to follow us on our social channels. You can find those links in the description video below as well.
And some cool other videos of us talking about all of these changes coming.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We can't wait to do more for you guys.
All right, see you around.
All right, we're back. I know you guys saw Martin talking about a link below. Of course, you didn't see that link, but if you go to our YouTube channel, type in Gwent in YouTube, it'll be last uploaded video, so it's easy to find. All right, that's that. So as you saw, whoa, we have a new currency. What I forgot to say is that Luigi's not here, and I can tell you guys why. He actually took a trip with his family to Mahakam, so yeah, they're on their way. I hope they get there safe. Moving on. I have you, David.
Yes.
We can talk about the changes that we have in the game. So I think it'll be cool if we can jump in straight into the game and show you what's going on in the main menu. All right. As you see, we have now new arts for opening kegs. And we have the meteorite powder, wow, that's hard to say, and the normal keg openings. Additionally to that, we have trinkets, which we'll talk about later. And we also have challenges, rewards here. Good.
Yeah, we should probably take a look at the rewards, right?
Yeah, I think we'll first start with a general overview, but if you want, we can jump to rewards. All right, so I think the most important change, since we're moving to public beta, will be there will be a lot of new players joining the game. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to work on the starter decks and how they function. And if you could take it from here, David.
Yes, sure. So the starting decks have been reworked for each single faction, and I think the biggest and most important change here is the fact that all of the decks start with 6 silver cards and 4 gold cards. This really helps to have the starting decks really be actually able to be competitive.
Yeah.
And you can actually get into the game a lot faster than you could previously in the closed beta, right? We're working a lot to try to make the experience for new players a lot easier and a lot faster to get into, because we know that Gwent is a complex game, right? So
exactly.
the more we can do to make it easier for new players, the better it is for them to get into the game.
Yeah. So like you mentioned, 6 silvers, 4 golds, and you get them in all all factions, which is super nice because we all start on an even footing, let's say, when we get into the game, which is super great. Talking about starter decks, we also reworked the tutorials that you used to know, and we created something called challenges. And when I first saw this, I was super excited for it, and David will bring it up here. Of course, you have the fundamental stuff.
Yes. So
and
this first one. So
go for it. Go for it.
So this first section is basically the simpler mechanics of how you play the game. And now we're going to have a full voice tutorial with Ciri and Geralt.
Which is really cool, because they talk back to each other while the tutorial is being played, which gives a nice new flavor to the game.
Yeah, exactly.
I really like it. Yeah.
So it takes you through the basic mechanics, and then goes to special mechanics. Of course, you complete these challenges. Then you go through a little bit of deck management, how to use the shop, how to craft cards, and all of these, right? But then it goes into this.
And this is super exciting, and this is totally new. And I really like this. As you can see, David already did some of his challenges.
Yes.
And each challenge shows the archetype of the faction.
Yes.
And what you get in the end is?
So basically you go through 3 challenges with each leader, right? And each one gets increasingly difficult, and it shows you some new mechanics that that there are. It teaches you how basically each faction plays, how some synergies with each leader, and then you go to the end, you open the big chest, and you get, if you beat him, you get awarded the leader.
Yeah, and this is like, I'm so excited for this, because like before you would have to either get a leader from a keg or craft them, and now you can just, if you do the whole tutorial, you can have all of them.
Yes.
What's also interesting is when we move on and we will introduce more leaders to the game, you will also have an ability to unlock them through these challenges. So new challenges will be coming up, which is super great.
Yeah, and this is, as we said, another step towards making it more accessible for new players, right? I mean, you get your leaders early on, you can get all of them, you can do whatever you like, and you also get a little bit more rewards, which will help you craft the cards you want, which will help you maybe really get a few kegs, you know, and that will be really nice.
Yeah, well, like Skellige here, I see you have King Brand, but you still need to get Harold the Cripple.
Still need to get Harold.
Yeah. And then monsters, you go one.
And
there's,
there's
have a small little thing, the Unseen Elder, which is actually a new leader.
Yes,
it's a new leader.
A brand new leader.
He replaced Gels. Gels went to becoming his own, let's say, card. He's now a gold card. But
but we'll go through all of that stuff later. We'll show you even the Unseen Elder and what he does and how it works.
Yeah, he's great.
Same for Scoia'tael.
Scoia'tael, same thing, and already we see a new unit there.
Yes.
Yeah, move run. As you see, they have really cool art, which resembles the art that we have in the avatars. If you connect the dots, you'll know what that means.
Yes.
All right, we went to that. Challenges should last you over 5 hours. So yeah, if you're coming new to Gwent and you're just starting with the game, it'll be super nice just to learn the archetypes, see the new leaders, and kind of craft your own strategies.
Yes.
Okay, let's move to the vanities.
Yes.
So
vanities,
aka trinkets. So this is the place where you'll have new avatars. You'll have titles and borders, which we already talked about, but we want to focus on the avatars. As you see, we have the classic Geralt.
This will come as a surprise.
And we have the normal Geralt, which all of them, of course, once you click them, they have their own voice lines.
Watch closely. You might just learn something.
Yep.
Observe a master in action.
Yeah, that's
the best line.
That's the best line. A lot of talk from him. And
this will come as a surprise.
yeah, and Jorvet, yeah.
Not bravery, but brains.
Yeah.
That's how you win.
That's how you win.
Let's go through them all now.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it.
Yep.
You might find this shocking.
You might find this shocking.
Yeah, and as you click them, you will see your avatar actually changes.
Yeah, it actually changes up there. But we'll go
as a surprise.
with the classic Geralt from Witcher 1.
Yes.
So that's totally new. Talking about trinkets, let's move on to rewards maybe.
Yes, so the new rewards screen, which I already saw some of it in the video.
You saw some of it in the video. A lot of you were asking if we could have this in the game. I already saw there was a lot of Reddit posts where everybody's asking, okay, how can I check what will I get for each level, for each rank? What about the dailies? What about the season rewards? it's all now here.
Yep.
And you also have the timer, which Jason talked about.
Yep. We haven't seen all of the other screens though.
Yeah.
So basically you can see what you're aiming for, where you're going. So let's say if you're here and you want to, the next reward will be a keg.
Exactly. And you pretty much see
You can click the button there to
get.
take you back to where you
Yeah.
were. Same applies for rank.
Yeah.
In the closed beta we had up to 15, but eventually in
Ooh.
the public beta this will go up to 21 ranks.
Yay! So yeah, everyone who's level 15, you will be able to go up to 21, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So more ranks and the season rewards. Well,
season rewards
most of these
including
things we already covered, but now you have it in the game. You can just look at it. So once we move on to public beta, you'll be able to see all these things in the game, which is super helpful, and it's something that everybody requested as far as I saw.
Yep.
All right,
Let's move
back.
on.
Okay, now this will be quite big, and I'm not building any tension or hype or whatever, but we did one thing which is quite important to the game, meaning we removed the faction abilities.
Yes.
And I know you might react mad, sad, unhappy, I don't know.
Yeah. But the thing is, they're not actually removed, right?
Exactly. And I want you to tell everyone what happened. Like, I know you guys, when I was talking with the designers, they were telling me that they tried to change it, they tried to tweak them, do something different with them, but it wasn't always working. So the idea you guys had was to incorporate them somehow into the faction and into the units and the cards themselves.
Yeah. The fact is that the more the game grew and the more content we started to add as the game grew through the closed beta, we started to realize that these faction abilities were more limiting than enabling. Both us as designers, right, when we wanted to create new content, but also for the players themselves. Like if you would be, for instance, playing Northern Realms and you have the faction ability, which was each gold card is +2 strength, right? Yeah. You would feel strange, or you would feel that you are underusing your faction's ability if you try to build
kind
a
of
different
entitled
deck.
just to play gold cards just to get that +2.
Exactly.
And yeah,
the faction nudged you to play that way, and that meant that some leaders tended to be more powerful than others because they just synergized better with the faction ability, and that would have been a problem once we start introducing new leaders, because later on, by the end of this year, we'd like to have up to 2-3 more leaders for each faction, right? And so we want to create some really cool stuff with this, and if the faction ability is there and it cannot change and we can't do anything about it, then all of these leaders need to be somehow synergizing with it, right?
Exactly.
So this way, we've moved the faction abilities basically onto the units themselves. Some of the units which basically worked with the faction ability and made use of the faction ability still have this ability embedded within them. And this means that if you want to play with this faction ability, you can choose to play with it, and this gives you freedom.
Exactly.
Right? You won't feel bad if you're playing a deck which is not really in your faction, right? Because you're not using it, but you can be creative with your deck building. You can be free and do what you really want to do.
Exactly. Like you said, some of the factions already have this ability now incorporated into the units. And this goes for Skellige, this goes for monsters. So you have these unique abilities that they had within the units, which is super cool, and it actually works super well when we were testing and we saw it. It was a good move on your side.
Yeah. In fact, we can make an example, for instance, with the Skellige units. You know, they grow over time, and this is something that we put onto the units themselves. Some units have what we're calling the veteran ability, which basically means that this unit itself grows over time, but not all the units have it, only the ones that work well with this, right?
Exactly. Which the ones that it makes sense for, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, moving on. So that, I hope everybody, I see the chat is a bit crazy, but I see it's quite positive, which is good. Okay, moving on. Since we removed faction abilities, we added one thing, which is additional mulligan. So you were able to redraw one card at the start of the second and third round.
The second and third round,
exactly.
Yeah. This was also a change that we think is really good for the game and really allows you to play the way you really want to. Mostly because many times there are cards which are very cool, they have really cool abilities, but they are just better at the beginning of the game, right? Or they are just better at the end of the game. And if you top deck a bad card, or a card that doesn't really work at the end of the game, at the end of the round, and you only have maybe two or three cards in your hand, then it usually meant that you were stuck with it, and it could mean the loss of the game. So basically, at the beginning of each round, you can now mulligan one card. And this means that if you top deck not the card you wanted in the last round, you can have another chance of getting the card that you actually need or want, or is better to play at the point
like
in
a
time.
clear skies that you don't have anything to rally for, then you know you might get a unit that might help you, or you might get a gold card that changes the whole match for you. So it's I see the chat saying that Merchant, hello Merchant if you're watching, he called it. He called it some time ago, and we were kind of surprised that he actually knew that we're going to remove faction abilities. So yeah, there you go, the prophet, let's say. Merchant the prophet. All right, maybe we could slowly move in, because we'll be showing everything through the deck builder. We won't be really playing a lot of matches today, any at all, to be honest. So let's see the decks. David here prepared a couple decks which show what's kind of going on in Gwent. The one faction we won't be showing for sure is Northern Realms, but we can first talk about Northern Realms and what's going on there, because it's still work in progress, so we don't want to show anything that's not 100% finished. So if you can tell me what happened, because like we said before, I think sometime in January, we weren't really happy with how the faction was working. And we wanted to change it totally, and now we did for public beta.
Yes. So I think one of the key new abilities for Northern Realms is the armor ability. Many cards have another number, which is basically a number that doesn't add to the power, to the strength of the card in terms of points for winning the game, but blocks damage when it's coming, right? So so if you have, say, 3 armor and you're hit with also standards, that armor that goes first, and then you are instead dealt, 4 damage instead.
Okay. So now you can protect yourself, and also, as far as I know, some of the units have really cool synergies with the armor assigned to it, which is a new, unique. It gives a new, unique look at Northern Realms, and it gives a unique feel, which I think was kind of needed, because it was a deck about everything. A little bit about resurrection, and then gold cards.
A lot of gold card synergy, which was really the only thing that was theirs, right? The only thing that was Northern Realms' ability was the promotion, and that is actually not in Northern Realms anymore. We're moving away from it. There'll be lots of new stuff there. They'll do lots of cool things, but for now we won't share much of that. But we have lots of other things to show.
Let's maybe start with Scoia'tael.
Sure. So Scoia'tael, we've reinforced a lot of their archetypes, basically. Here is one deck which works very well with special cards, right? But there's the Mulligan special card, the Mulligan archetype. There's also a Dwarf archetype here that you've already seen a number of times, and you can already start seeing all the
premiums showing up. Yes, as you guys know, and as we promised some time ago, we wanted to have all cards turned into premiums, and they're all here. Every card has a premium. In the deck builder, what we try to do is we try to have at least one which is a premium. If we have copies, if we only have one, we just have one of them.
Probably everyone wants to see this one.
Life Coach's favorite card.
Yes.
Gerald Igni. There it is. Gerald going all in with that Igni. What is also interesting, and I specifically skipped that point before, and I want to get back to it, is we have new keywords and tags. Because a lot of you guys were talking to us saying, okay, the descriptions could be a little bit better. You guys can tweak them, and that's what we did. We wanted to tweak them for you guys. And if you now hover over a card, you will see its description, but you also at the top you see this little border box in which you have what deploy and damage actually means. So if you deploy, you trigger this ability when the card is placed on the board, and damage decrease the number. I think it would be when you start playing that it's like a lot easier to digest what the card does, even at a glance, and this is another step to making the game accessible to people who want to get into it, right? Exactly.
So deploy here, for instance, is, as you said, the keyword for when played, right? We had many cards that had deploy before, but now it's being listed as such. So as you can see, many cards here have deploy, boost, transform, promote, demote, all of these this sort of nomenclature has been standardized so that everyone knows what it is. And when you go here and you don't know what promote means or what consume means, it will appear there when you click on it, when you hover over it.
Okay, exactly. While we're talking about this, it will be really cool to showcase some of the new cards and the cards that their changes were tweaked. And I see, people saying King of Beggars changed. Why is he a 15? What happened? And let's start with him. Let's start with he has a really cool premium too. What does he do? Because you explained it to me today, and I was like, wait a second. And then you explained it again, and I was like, that makes sense. And if you could tell us how this card works. So now I'll just move the cursor up.
Yeah. So King of Beggars is a catch-up card, right? So if you're losing by more than 15 points, you play him, and he's a 15 silver, and it allows you to close that gap between you and your opponent. But if you're losing by 10 points, say, then he will be played as a 10. If you're losing by 3 points, then he will go down to a minimum of 5, right?
So when you play him,
minimum of 5 always. So even if you're winning and you play him and you're stuck with this card, you still have 5 strength to play. But basically, if you're winning, he goes down to 5. So when you play him, he will damage himself down until you're tied, is how this is written here, but that's the actual effect, how it turns out to be in the game. He's a really fun card to play, and it really allows you to stay low and then catch up really quickly if you want to do that.
Yes, and you guys also added a lot of new unique abilities, and I want to show Saskia here, because Saskia was super requested when it comes to her human form, because we had before only the dragon forms, and we have this thing as orders and summon. What does this do now?
So orders is the keyword for something that happens when you play your leader. And summon means that it's basically summoned from the deck. So you'll have Saskia in your deck as a 7 strength gold. When you play your leader, surprise, she comes out of the deck and is also played.
Exactly.
It's a simple card, but it's very useful to trick your opponent into how much strength you actually have.
And as you, I'm specifically talking about Saskia, but as you guys probably saw on Reddit, where we kind of went live for a second early, leaders can now spawn copies of themselves on the board. And tell me, what was your idea behind this? Because this is quite important. I probably should have mentioned this before. What was the idea behind to have leaders as units on the board and then their ability triggering?
Right. This is also related to content and future. As I said before, we intend to introduce a lot of new leaders, right? And we want to do a lot of cool new abilities with leaders, but having them be only on the side and only be sort of like a passive or played once meant that they needed to be more or less have the same power, the same strength in terms of ability, right? With this, if you play it as a gold on the board, we can create cool abilities which may be a little less powerful, but you would need them anyway as a guarantee, right, to guarantee the way your deck works. But we can compensate and balance out the abilities of the leaders with the strength of the gold card that you play when you play it. And this allows us to do a lot more things because we're removing the restriction that they need to be all similar, and we can balance them in a better way and in a better sort of tweaked sort of.
And I like the idea that not only do you guys introduce updates to leaders and how they work, they play themselves, but also you have units who synergize with this ability. We have like, I remember there are like golems who jump into the board once you deploy your leader, which is super cool. And the same with Saskia, she just jumps in. And correct me if I'm wrong, this works also if your opponent plays his leader on the board, Saskia will come into the board, or is it just when you do it?
It is usually when you play your unit. Of course, these are things that are slight details like this are subject to change with our testing. Even the numbers here that you see are also subject to change with our testing. But the abilities are mostly finalized.
Let's start with the protectors, because
the protectors
double Atana protectors are really cool.
These are new.
And they actually work with the special cards and their ability, as you see.
Yes.
We tried to have at least one premium, so here is the premium of the double Atana protector. As long as we stand no human, food shell, trample, double Atana's meadows, which is really, really nice. I always like the flavor text. And simply, whenever you play a special card, you boost this unit by 1, wherever it is.
So even if it's in the deck, even if it's in your hand, this will grow during the time. And this is a real core card. It's going to be a real core card of the special strategy, the special.
Yeah, I actually tested a deck with this card, and it was super cool. And they got boosted, and you have, like, in the end, last round, you throw down a protector that has a lot of points assigned to him.
But of course, many of the strategies that were there before have not disappeared. Of course, I mean, for instance, the ELVEN mercenaries.
Yes, I wanted to get to these next. I saw someone in the chat saying they're disloyal. What happened? And yeah, David will answer what happened.
Yeah. So they're still the same card. They still play the special card. Actually, now they're a bit more flexible because they allow you to draw 2 and choose one that you want to play. So it's not random, and it's a little harder to play them and get that scorch at the wrong time or something like that. But eventually, after you play them as disloyal, you can play an ambush card, and they will come back to your side of the board. So this is a bit of a cross merging of different archetypes. Like the ambush can work with all of the different types of units that decks that you want to play, right?
If you could show the premium of the ELVEN mercenary,
sure.
it's quite cool. Yeah, of course, all of these cards have sound effects attached to them, which are really cool. And you hear the you know what happened there. Yeah, it's totally you changed how this unit will be played and how it works, and I really like the new ability.
Yeah. So here, for instance, you have Moran, who's an ambush card, right? So what you do is you play these. They cycle into, you know, a classic Scoia'tael strategy, into your first lights, with rally, bring more out. These, while you're playing more and more special cards, your double Atana protectors are getting buffed. And then after you've played your ELVEN mercenaries, you play Moran face down, and at that point, all of your mercenaries come back to your side, right?
Exactly. That's really, really cool. And it's lean, like you told me that you really like her premium when she rises.
She rises up,
which is great. There's a really cool strategy attached to her, and if you could talk about it a little bit.
She's a very, very strong unit. Basically, what it lets you do is choose a special card from your deck and play it, and then spawn a copy of it and play it again. So you can play, for instance, you play her, you choose your Swallow Potion, and you play 2 at the same time. This applies also for Alzu's Thunder if you want. You can play 2 at the same time. And that's really, really powerful, especially when combined with the double Atana protectors.
That works really cool altogether. You have Dudu here also. Dudu didn't change much, did he?
No. Dudu remained the same, but we can show
his premium.
As you can see, the things that worked are all still there, right?
Exactly.
Some of them have some tweaks to match all of the new things, but there is a lot of stuff and a lot of things that you're familiar with. That
could you show, Aglaïs, one of my favorite cards and one of my favorite premiums, because it's subtle, plus the sound effects make me feel like, oh, this is so nice.
It's really nice. I really love this.
Yeah. What does she do now? Because it's different. I mean, she's a 10 now, which is important, but it's not only this, because she can be weakened, but I'll let you take it over from here.
Aglaïs lets you resurrect a special card from your opponent's graveyard, not from your own. But she can be played as a strong 10, and this is another thing of playing cards with more versatility, right? So the effort thing, this is a keyword, which means that if you activate the ability, then it would weaken itself by 4 in this case, right? But if you don't activate the ability, you can play her as a 10 gold. So if you do resurrect a special card, you get her on the board for weaker, right? But if you don't, then you just play her as a strong gold card, which makes her very versatile, very, very useful in many different situations, right?
Someone is asking, what does weaken do? Weaken, like David just mentioned, if you don't use the card's ability, it will not get -4 in this case when we're talking about Aglaïs. So she will not be weakened, but if you use the ability, she will be weakened by 4 points.
Yes, the difference is for weaken, that means that you're reducing base strength and not damaging the unit. So the number would not be red, it would be still white, right? So it's a weaker unit. So there's a different keyword for weakening and for wounding the unit down.
Nice.
And that would mean red or white color?
I think for sure we have to show August. I really like the premium.
Yeah.
Boom.
I could watch these all day.
Yeah. I remember a couple days ago when I saw this version and I saw the premiums, that the first thing I did was just went through all the premiums, looked at them for some time, and was like, wow, this is so cool.
Yeah, okay.
And yeah, I mean, he turns into exhausted Argivus, which he used to turn into a normal 6. The timer is here, and it's the same, and it also damages all the units that are not gold by 1, right?
Yes, on the other side. Yeah.
Also, something that didn't change is gold cards are not affected by the abilities, as far as I know.
Yes,
they're still protected. You can't damage them.
And that's one thing you will see in the tooltips as well. Before, a while ago, we also used to specify every time non-gold, right?
Non-gold.
Now this is something that's changed in terms of, we say a unit, all gold cards are not affected unless stated otherwise, and this really helps to simplify the tooltip.
Yeah, this simplifies the tooltip and makes it more easy to read, easy to understand. Plus, you have the ability to show these tooltips with more explanation to it, which is super cool. Another thing that I'll mention before we move on to the next deck is we also, because I know a lot of people were asking about this, wanted an ability to mute your opponent, so his emotes, and you can do that now in the settings menu. Yes, so there you go. And what else you can change is you can change if you want the longer description or the shorter description to pop up here. So as you see, when David is hovering over a card, you have the additional description. You can turn this off. You can turn this off, if you don't like it, but I like it. It gives more kind of information when you start with the game and when you get into it.
Yeah, especially for beginners, this is really helpful. And then maybe you want to turn it off later on when you become a veteran.
Cool.
I think that's it for SKYA, right?
Yeah.
There are some other, before we move on, there are some other things that we didn't mention. As, for SKYA, the special cards is only one of the archetypes. There's Mulligan, which now units that work, you can build decks built around mulliganing units. And there's things like dwarfs, and there's also movement, which is something that's going to be specific for Scoia'tael as well.
Okay, and there's one thing we forgot about when talking about Scoia'tael, is something that I've been also asked recently a lot about. Will there be any counters for ambush cards, so cards that are played face down? And you told me a little bit about this before the stream. If we could also mention this right now, that would be great.
Of course, yes. So one thing we did is that we put a unit that locks in every single faction, right? So each faction has their own unit with the twist for the faction, which locks. Now the lock ability now also locks ambush cards, and this does not mean that they're not there anymore. They just turn around. They don't trigger their ability, but they still keep their strength.
Yeah, as an example, let's say you play Torviel, and when she flips and she becomes locked before that, her value will count till the end, but her ability will not, of course, trigger. Someone said great deck descriptions, and yeah, that's David. That's David. Yeah, he's known for these puns. Okay, moving on. Let's maybe, I don't know, you want to show Nilfgaard maybe, but you want to show the super OP that we will show later, but let's talk about Reveal, because Reveal, something that I saw being brewed by a lot of people recently and seeing more and more play. You guys took a totally new twist to it, and you also switched how all the leaders now work for Nilfgaard, which is super interesting, but I want you to get into it.
Yes, so
tell me more.
The leaders for Nilfgaard all have different abilities. Well, one of them is kind of similar, but we'll talk about this. So Morvran is revealing up to 3 cards from either player's hand, right? And you've still got your mangonels, which work as they used to.
Fire. Boom.
But a new unit is the DAERLAN foot soldiers, right? And this is a new unit, and what they do is that when they are revealed in the hand, you play the card and draw a new card instead. And this is another thing that we've introduced. We've introduced ways for each faction to be able to cycle through their deck and to cycle cards, right? And each one of the factions does it in their own way. In terms of Scoia'tael, it's Mulligan. In terms of Nilfgaard, it's revealing cards, right? So
yeah, you kind of shine more light into reveal, which is really cool.
Yes,
I remember this unit being somewhere in the game, but just being a base power card with not much ability attached to it. And now it has super unique ability. And yeah, a lot of people in the studio are saying that they like this premium. It's really cool. They're just walking down the hill, foot soldiers chilling, and they're out. And then you see him come back again. And you can watch this as an infinite loop if you want.
If you need to relax, it's a really good one.
Yeah, it's a really good one. They're so peaceful. Of course, we have the spotters. So
the spotters,
they're
similar as they were, but we can show the premium cards.
Yeah, I like how he's looking like, he's kind of reaching out. It's really cool. Yeah, but of course, if you're playing reveal, you need spotters.
We have a lot of cards now that work with the reveal archetype. The alchemist, for instance, works really well with the Daerlan foot soldiers. He lets you choose a card and reveal it, right? So you can choose directly select your foot soldier, play him, and basically cycle that card, and you get a new one.
If we could see Seret, I really like the premium.
Seret is
he's next. Ouch. That had to hurt.
Yeah, I really love how he doesn't look. He looks away.
Yeah, and the thing I noticed is like you see his eyes and they glow since he's a Witcher, which is super cool. Yeah. And it's the little details here with the cards. And he also now has this ability that works with reveal.
Yes. So yeah, this is a really good card. So you reveal a card, right, and you select it, and then you set it to 1. And this is a card that's still in the opponent's hand. But there are cards that really work well with this. For instance, if you look at Cynthia's new ability, it reveals the highest unit in your opponent's hand, and it boosts itself by the revealed unit's powers. But this means that Cynthia can be played immediately into Seret. So you play Cynthia, it reveals the highest card in the opponent's deck, and then you play Seret and set it to 1. Yeah. Right?
Seret gets to work on that card, let's say.
The bad thing is if the card you reveal is a gold card. Of course, Seret does not affect gold cards, unless it says otherwise, like it says on Cynthia's ability where it says including golds, right?
Exactly. Which is really cool because you don't have unnecessary wording, which you really don't need. Okay, yeah.
Treason is
treason. As you see, this guy is really liking the money, let's say, salivating all over. It's a totally new ability. It used to be different. It used to take one of the unloyal cards on your side and give a boost to it, and now it's something totally different. If you could talk about this card and the synergy it has, because we actually have a nice combo.
There's a nice combo here, yeah. So Treason is playing the bottom card for an opponent's deck, and Nilfgaard is all about messing with your opponent, messing with your opponent's deck, and this is one way that Treason really, exactly.
Shout out to Mogwai, the Nilfgaard player. And here's the
combo. So Xarthisius looks at the top 3 cards, and you select one and put them at the bottom. So if you say play Xarthisius, you look at the top 3 cards, put one in the bottom, and follow it up with Treason. You can play it for yourself.
Exactly. Okay, let's show the new card.
The new card.
A lot of people are anticipating this guy to show up sooner or later. He's not very liked by all the people who read the novels. You don't like him. Leo Boneheart, there we go. There he is. There's his premium. That guy looks super frightened. I'm not surprised because the guy is scary. Trust me,
it's really intimidating. That sort of.
Yeah, he's like, twitch. Yep. What does he do now?
So what he does is you reveal a unit in your hand. You can choose the unit, and then you damage an enemy unit by the revealed unit's power.
And this is including golds, which is super powerful.
So you can choose the card you want to reveal. You can, if you like, use it with them, but probably a better way to use them is to reveal your buffed up spotter.
Or Xarthisius, which is a 10.
Yes, or that's why there's also the Guardian here, which is another 10. So this deck has a lot of these 10 so that you can deal 10 damage and then follow it up with the play of the Guardian.
And it's great because you your opponent might have a plan for the game and you just stop that plan because that card is not even played and you already have something to counter it. So which is super crazy. Yeah, that's the Guardian.
The Guardian is also and it also works with what you just said, right? With the messing with the opponent's deck, for instance. So this one on Death Wish. Death Wish is when it is killed, right? When it goes to the grave. And again, we have when destroyed. It spawns 2 lesser Guardians on the top of your opponent's deck, so you can play it, round 1 to make the next mulligan just 2 lesser Guardians, or if you're playing against Nilfgaard and your opponent has played Stefan to put a card on top, you can play this and that will cover it up with 2 of these, right?
Yeah, it's an interesting new strategy that you put into the game, which is really cool. Well, I see a lot of people writing that this is OP. Now you have to play it and test it to see. And now all the factions look pretty well. I know you guys are still working on the design and on the balance, which is awesome. Yeah. But already the shell that we have here and what we were seeing is looking like super great. Great.
And of course, Nilfgaard has very specific, very unique abilities, which always look kind of strange and kind of really powerful. But they're really balanced and they really create some really cool play with.
Shout out to Maciek Ostry, who's kind of the mastermind behind Nilfgaard, and he comes up with these weird new abilities. Yeah, interesting character for sure. We can show Swears.
Swears has changed a little bit. Yes, it's actually. I think it's a little better. You can choose revealed units in the opponent's hand as well, not only cards that are already in play, so this is only revealed ones, of course, but you can target directly the opponent's hand. And what's cool about him is that we've made him so that he displays the cards that he's going to discard, and you can choose how many you want to discard, right? You can discard up to whatever is left there, not all of them. And this makes it easier so that you don't have to actually look into the graveyard to see if it worked or not. It makes it easier for the player to know what has been discarded, what worked, what was Swears' effect. So I think he just became, of course the ability is the same, but it just became a lot more flexible.
Yeah, if you could show Ka here, no Nilfgaardian, there he is. The sound effects are a bit crazy.
It really changes when you look at the premium cards with headphones on and you actually view all of them one by one with the sound effects.
That's what I did a couple of days ago. I was like, whoa! His ability works the same, but it has new wording. Like we said, we reworked how the wording is, and with the tags and now the specific words, they're also explained. So I think it should be a lot easier to understand what the card is doing.
Kahir is always a very versatile card. It's one of those creative cards, right? It's one of those things that let you do things that you really want to do.
Exactly.
Especially with the new abilities of the leaders.
Yeah, exactly. What does Murvran now do? Because he works now with revealing, right?
He works with revealing, and we can also take a look perhaps at the other leaders here that we have for Nilfgaard. And we've got Emir.
Yeah.
So Emir is really cool. He's basically a better decoy. And what he does is that he chooses an ally that is on the board. You return to your hand and you play a different card instead. You can play the same one if you want, but you can choose to play a different one, so you can swap them around. And John Calvate is doing previous ability that was previously here, which is the look at the top 3 cards, play one and place the others back. This is a very powerful ability already. It's already in the game, and it was working well, so it's still there because it's very nice and also creative in terms of how you play it.
Yeah, if you could show the summoning circle that's in
this is one of my new favorites.
Yeah, this is a crazy one. I don't know who came up with the design for this, but I really like it, and you can really change the tide of a match by just playing this card. And what was the idea behind it? Can you shed some light into it? Yeah,
well, the basic concept here is that your opponent plays a card, and you play this, and you play it as well. This is basically what it does. It spawns a copy of the last card played by your opponent, but it works really well in the reveal deck because you can reveal cards in your opponent's deck. For instance, you're playing against Skelligan, you see that he's playing Priestesses of Freya, right? You have a revealed Priestess of Freya, you say, okay, I'm going to keep the summoning circle back in my hand. They play Priestess of Freya. You resurrect your own unit, right?
Yeah.
And this can allow a lot of different things and a lot of
it gives it really cool strategies and things to play around with, which is awesome. I really like this card, and for me it always worked. So yeah.
I really like that one. This one and Beggar's Twisted Mirror together are quite fun.
Oh, that sounds like a crazy combo, like maybe too crazy for me. We have Joachim there, I think. No, that's Vatier. No. Sorry, Vatier. What does?
He's also working with reveal.
Yeah, so he works the same as he used to,
Yeah,
as far as I remember.
You reveal up to 2 cards from your hand. For each revealed card, reveal 1 from your opponent's hand. And this again works with the mangonels. So there's a lot of more things to fuel. Basically, you've got Leo Bonhart, who's fueling the reveal. You've got, of course, more Vran with Kahir, who's doing a lot more.
Yeah.
You've got the Alchemists, and we also have the other units. For instance, we have a new Trebuchet type unit, which when revealed shoots and then shoots again when you play it.
Yeah, Trebuchet.
The Fire Scorpion actually is doing this.
The Fire Scorpion, but here the Mangonels are the ones that have always been with the reveal.
Yes, these are the same.
With the reveal archetype. Here's the premium, and I like that they're shooting at that castle constantly. Yeah, it's really cool. But also the scenery here in the foreground, let's say, is like super peaceful.
Yeah.
But in the background, you see Havoc. Yeah, it's cool that you.
I love it. I love doing this.
Yeah,
it just make them pop out a little bit more.
Exactly.
Really
moving on.
Yeah.
I think we covered everything that we wanted
we pretty
to
much
cover here.
Covered all of this,
showing the premiums. Yeah. All right.
And we covered the leaders too.
Yes, we covered the leaders.
Move on.
Super nicely. So what? Skellige monsters. How do you feel? Let's maybe go to discard and show King Bran as always being the leader associated with discard.
Yes. So this is a discard deck.
Yeah.
Again,
of course.
Discard deck was there before. All the staples of the discard deck remain. You know, the War Longship one being one of them, the Pirates being another.
Let's maybe start, let's go from the top and let's go by the premium. So the Pirate Captain still works with discard, so his ability didn't change.
Yes, but you can see the veteran thing that we talked about earlier, about the faction ability being moved onto the card. This was important for this, especially for Skellige, right? So he, at the start of round 2 and round 3, strengthens himself by 1. And strengthen, again, as we said, strengthen means that he becomes stronger in terms of white value, right? So this is base value. And this is basically the same functionality that we saw from the Skellige faction ability, which is placed into the units themselves, right?
Someone's like, show premium, so there you go. There we go.
Yeah. The weather effects are so cool.
Yeah, I always liked those. The first one on premium that I saw was with Birna Bran, and then now seeing more cards with weather effects is awesome. It's really awesome to see. Okay, now we have these raiders that you all known for, you always discard them.
Also, this is the cycling unit that we talked about before. Right? You discard them, they go back onto the board.
Yeah, the
Dimmun
pirates. I like his premium a lot. It's simple, but it's really nice to see this card animated, since I used to play a lot when I played this card, and I like to see him kind of being brought to life, let's say. Yeah, really awesome job on the animations. The team is doing like a lot of hard work on these, and they were able to make all of them for public beta, which is great.
It's quite a feat, actually, to be able to.
Yeah, Morgvarg, of course, a staple.
Yep.
There he is. Happy as always. I like the sound effects, the VFX here. They add a lot more flavor to the cards, and it's really awesome.
It's like a lot of work, basically.
I'm just like super hyped and overwhelmed, to be honest. All right, Ermion.
Let's show.
Ermion works the same.
Yeah.
He's like, what's the brewing something crazy?
I don't really know what's in here. But
Yeah. Draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards from your hand.
Again, discard synergy.
Yeah.
This guy is new. Woohoo! He has a new ability.
Yeah.
So you discard a bronze unit from your deck, so you can choose the unit again, and damage a unit by the discarded unit's base power, right? So you can discard perhaps one of these, and they would just resurrect, right, and deal 4 damage, or you can discard maybe something. Morgvarg is another really good one to discard, right? He will be immediately resurrected.
He'll come back.
It will come back immediately.
A lot of people in the chat are saying new Geralt hype. So yeah, let's show. This is the premium version you'll be getting for participating in closed beta. Yeah, he has new abilities added to him.
Yes. So I mean, the basic concept is still the same, but we're introducing this new ability again, Brave. And what Brave does is that when you play the card, if you are losing, it does something. So in this case with Geralt, you play him. If you're losing, he becomes a 2.
A 12.
A 12. Sorry.
Yeah. He gets +2.
He gets +2 is what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's strengthened by 2. Again, this is base strength. So
He's
gonna
brave.
Yeah. He's brave. So.
Yeah. It's true. Someone said we missed showing the premium raider, so let's show the premium raider.
Yes.
If I could, I would make this whole stream about premiums and just showing premiums without us talking, just so you guys can enjoy the show.
They speak for themselves.
Yeah, they speak for themselves. Totally. Yeah. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah,
one swing.
One
out.
swing and the shift into the slow-mo.
Yeah.
Really.
He's great. And he's like, ha ha ha. He laughs at them.
Priestess of Freya, the same.
Yeah.
So as you can see, there are changes, but many of the core concepts are all still there, and you can still play the cards that you want and like to play.
Yeah, and Skellige was always based around the strategy of resurrection and resurrecting your units, and it's still here, and it's still
here, and it should be.
Yeah, exactly. And we have, of course, the war longship, which you see, and we could actually move straight to the premium. The ability is the same, but I like how he's just like chilling, sailing, and then he gets a couple fire arrows here and there, but he's still going strong. Yeah. What about Donar? Donar, we missed. He's the lonely guy in the middle here.
There he is.
One punch.
So this is, as we said, One Punch Man.
Yeah. Boom. Teeth falling out. That's how he does it.
I just like,
yeah,
I'm gonna
just
play the song
it all the time.
Yeah, over and over.
Like boom,
so cool.
boom. Yeah.
So again, this is the lock unit. As I said before, each faction has its own lock unit, and also it ties into the discard strategy. So you're toggling lock, you're locking also ambush guards, as we said before.
Which is quite important.
Yes,
because a lot of people asked about that, and it's cool that you guys you took the next step to actually have lock abilities in all factions, because this is something that was needed. Of course, you could have played Cleaver, but Cleaver not always kind of worked with the theme you had going for your deck. So now it makes sense. What about Udalaric?
Yeah, that's what I was going for. It's not
Yeah.
only the lock that we've introduced some in all of the factions. We've also made sure that we kind of sort of streamlined how much card advantage each faction can get, right? So each faction also has its own classic Witcher 3 spy, right? Again, with their own...
Draw 2 cards. Yeah, we're going back to the good old days.
So each faction has it, and each one of them has a slight twist onto the faction. So they always do the spy ability, and then they do something with the faction. In this case, again, the discard comes in again. So you're choosing one, and then you're discarding the other one, as you also have fuel for the.
I like his premium a lot.
Yeah,
super crazy.
Yeah, there are some really cool plays here. After you've played your Udalaric, you can play your Alzur's Double Cross, and for instance, you can see that Morgvard is the next strongest unit. He comes out as a stronger, because Alzur's Double Cross is strengthening by 2, right?
Yeah.
So he comes down as a 9, basically. A 9
if you could show the premium just for Double Cross, because I saw someone asking for it on the chat. Yeah, just looking around. Boom. And I like that. I like that. It's like boom, and just jumps in. It's really cool.
It's like dropping the bass.
Yeah. Yeah. He looks like one big speaker, just like boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else? Oh, I really like. So it was Funriga if you want. Yeah.
Again, quite similar. We've shown him. What were you gonna say?
I wanted to see Restore. Yeah.
Restore is also changed.
I like this. Like,
so it also has that discard strategy there built in as fuel.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Yeah. Renew. Yeah, I really like the art in this card by Lorenzo. It's great, and it's great to see it as a premium animated. Yeah, so yeah, you resurrect a gold unit, so that's what it does.
Yep, a gold unit from both graveyards, right? So not only your own, but also from the opponent's.
Yeah, some really cool strategies you can do with that card. Some crazy plays, for sure.
Yep.
Okay, I think we covered most of it. If you could just show Priestess of Freya, the premium.
Yes, that one we haven't shown yet.
That's really cool. I have something with listening to the forest sound effects. They're so cool, so peaceful and calming. That's yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Monsters.
Monsters it is.
Monsters will be last, actually.
Well, they will.
Oh, yeah. no. We still have to show our super OP deck that you created.
Yeah. This one is the Unseen Elder, which is actually the new one of the new leaders for monsters, and he basically has the old Karen ability built in.
Yes,
right.
He's the new Karen. If you see the descriptions next to him, there's a lot. Yeah.
This is already a strong deck, right? The monsters consume, and we've done things to make the things that are really essential to playing that archetype basically built in. And this is why we move them onto the leader, because the concept of the leader cards mostly now is to have that for sure ability, which always was like that, but now even more you tailor pick the ability that's going to be there always. And for a monsters consume deck, this is a very core thing. So it's more about consistency, and as we said, because Gwent is a complex game, you always want something there that can really be there when you need it. You know, this is why this has been done. That's why the mulligan was done as well. For these reasons: consistency and reliability. And
I like how the Unseen Elder is coming back into the game, because it's a really cool character that you were able to see in Blood and Wine for the first time. And he's just awesome, and he already has a premium like when you first see the card. He's really great, and like you said, he's now the leader for Consume, and Consume has its own spot. I also know that you guys changed the way Dagon works right now, because he doesn't play Clear Skies, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
He just plays weather effects, so he's the card associated with weather. And this is something we didn't talk about, because there's some changes to weather. I must have skipped that on my list, but since we're talking about monsters, we can talk a little bit about weather effects. As you already see on the screen, we have Biting Frost at the bottom.
Yes, we do.
Tell me what you guys did with weather, because I know weather was something that you guys were working on a lot of times, and you were tweaking, changing, and I feel like right now the state that we're gonna have for public beta with weather is great, because I feel like each faction can have a weather deck now.
Exactly.
And weather is not an ability which you play and it affects the whole row immediately. Now it kind of goes into gradually, but you could probably talk more about this since you're the specialist here.
So basically, weather is more now of a sort of control card that happens over the turns, right? And every faction can play it. They can be played, so Biting Frost, Fog, and Rain are not tied to the row anymore. You can play them on any row that you like, and they have a different control effect, right? So in terms of Biting Frost, you can play it on a single row that you choose. So this is your own side or the opposite side. They are one-sided. This doesn't mean if you play it on, say, the siege row, you'll have on both siege rows. This will only be on the opponent's side, right? And each turn, it damages units on the row by 1. Of course, this means non-gold units always.
Exactly.
There are differences, of course. Then you have, let's look at Fog. Fog has a ceiling effect, so you've got the highest unit S, right, is damaged by 2, right? And Rain does the lowest unit on the row.
But by 2 also,
but by
if
2
I remember.
Also,
of course, these values are still being worked on, so you have to consider them as something work in progress. But I really like how it works now. It works totally different. And I think it's a lot better, because before you would have a weather effect and it would be a huge swing, and then you would clear skies, and then you would remove it, and then again it was like the points were shifting like crazy. And it was pretty much who had the counter for like the last say, let's say. And here it happens gradually. And I also saw somewhere like behind the scenes that you guys are maybe thinking about cards that enhance this effect, that maybe with Frost it does a little bit more damage over time, which is awesome. And I really like the new kind of shift that you guys brought to weather. And I think, I mean, for me, at this moment, it works super well. And yeah, it's cool.
Basically, we're looking at more sort of active synergy with weather rather than sort of immunity, right? So instead of cards being just plain immune, some cards work actively, like work better with weather or do more damage in weather or stuff like this. And this allows, as I said, you don't always want to play weather in a deck which has all the immunities, right? You can play weather if you'd like to create a deck with monsters consuming weather, you can. Of course, we've seen this before, but if you want to create a Scoia'tael special card deck with weather, then you can, because there are also special cards, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff you can do, and this really enables creativity a lot in how you make your decks.
All right, since we can go through the premiums, you guys probably saw Necker. Yeah, Necker.
You are
a staple in the consume deck.
Yes, he remained the same.
Yeah.
His value decreased slightly, but he's still within the current with how it works. He's still a core, really important card. He's very strong. He's played pretty much in all of the consume decks, and we like that. We want to keep that.
You just tweaked his power to being a 2, but his ability still works the same.
And this is probably one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's our favorite premium here in the studio. Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah. It's kind of disgusting and cute at the same time.
He's got this weird smile that really makes him kind of like, is he smiling or is he frowning?
But he's always like scratching over there, so something not going well.
Something dropped at some point.
Yeah. It's cool that we have the Ekimara, because this is something, going back to what we said at the beginning, we said that, of course, we removed faction abilities, but some units have this faction ability in them, and this is a great example of this.
I mean, one famous play was you played the Ekimara on a very large Ran warrior, for instance, and
took it on to the next round.
You move it on to the next round, you do the faction ability. But now, Ekimara, you can still do that with Ekimara, is what we mean to say. So the faction abilities are still there. The cool stuff that you wanted to do is still there. And so you play Ekimara and you can still keep a big unit for the next round because Ekimara has resilience built in.
Poor horse. Oh, the ghoul. Ooh. I like the premium here. Yeah. He's just munching on some flesh. Yeah. Looks good. Yeah, and same ability as before.
Same ability as before, no, hasn't changed.
And the Vran Warrior.
Vran Warrior.
King Vran. Shout out to KBT if he's watching.
So Vran Warrior is similar, but again, he's got a deploy ability. So as soon as you play him, he consumes the unit immediately. You don't have to wait the timer only. So you play him, he consumes, and then every 2 turns he does.
Yeah, it's really cool. The ability triggers, and then after 2, it triggers. Yep. Yeah.
And here's the...
He looks happy. Yeah. He's probably hungry. He's always hungry, so...
Yeah, you know. All right.
Another consume staple, the Grave Hag.
Has remained the same as
Looking for food. Oh, what's that? Looks yummy. Yummy, yummy. Yeah. Timer. Yeah. Consume all units.
It's same thing. Concept. Yeah. Same
as
Katagan. This is also a really nice.
Yeah, I really like that. Consume still works pretty much the same.
Yeah, consume pretty much. I mean, this worked, right? This is something that people enjoy playing. We enjoy playing, and so it will stay here.
Yeah.
What else? Oh, we need to talk about...
Yeah, Regis, my favorite character in the Witcher universe. He is split now into 2 cards.
Yes.
He has his normal form and his vampire form. While his vampire form is really cool because it synergizes with everything consume. And what it does is...
basically, it draws cards from your opponent's deck and you choose one to consume, basically.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
Yeah,
because you can find something cool and just like, oh, I'll eat that. Sorry, your strategy out. Yeah.
He's a neutral card, so he can be played anywhere. But it also has, I mean, it's a very useful card for any faction, right? Yeah. But for monsters, it has that special consume trigger, which is useful for, of course, the classic Arrakis behemoths, right? Which still work the same way as well.
Yeah. Not really happy to see us though. This behemoth. Yeah.
Crones again.
Oh, I like the premiums here. They all have something. I was like, oh, look at this. And the music from The Witcher 3, oh, it's so good.
Let's look at the other ones.
They're all kind of tasting the brew that they're making. It's like, oh, she's spitting in it. I mean, come on.
Adding ingredients there.
Not really Top Chef here.
And the other one is stirring.
Yeah. No, I think she does also something with the hand, if I remember correctly. I might be mistaken. Let's see. Because I think she tastes it. Oh, yeah. There we go.
There we go.
Yumsies.
In for the dip.
Yeah. Remember, never double dip your chips. Yeah.
Or your Oreos.
Or Oreos. Yeah. While we're here, yeah. So Cyprian.
He's got well, he does the classic new stuff.
Yeah.
That's classic new stuff. Classic new stuff. There's a contradiction.
He's a staple.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
now in the top
since the
decks
tournament
and
as well.
and also
we've seen him
since Challenger.
Since Challenger.
I think Noxious had him in all of his control-y decks, and yeah, there you have him. And his premium is crazy. The crazy barking dogs and that face of his that makes you wanna punch him.
Yeah, I want to put a donor next to him. So.
Yeah, donor with the one punch man swing. Yeah, swinging into him. Yeah.
So you can still play him as we saw him played in the tournament quite a lot against Roach or against your Neckers, so that they don't trigger.
Yeah.
Right. But also, he also destroys an ambush unit, and this is not only lock like we saw with lock. This means that if you target the ambush unit, it destroys it completely off of the board, right?
Yeah.
So he's the only one that has this ability here.
That's really cool.
This is part of all the counters for.
I mean, Caretaker, you guys know, and his premium was already in the game, but yeah, there he is. Still works the same way. Nothing changes here. Yeah. Really good for messing with your opponent's graveyard and resurrecting something he or she might want to resurrect, playing Skellige.
Working with Regis, right? Resurrecting from the graveyard, taking from the
you drop something into the graveyard and then you take it back.
Exactly.
Avalok, I want to stop for a second and talk about. You see him doing these paintings, as he always said that he would make these for humans to kind of show them what happened, and yeah, he was drawing weird stuff and just for laughs, let's say. Yeah, I think it's mentioned somewhere in The Witcher 3. If not, it's mentioned in the novels for sure. And I really like this part. And I like that this art reflects it, and you can see it more on the premium now. Now let's instead of my jibber jabber, let's get into what the card does.
Of course, one thing that changed is the fact that he's now neutral.
Yes.
Right. But his main concept and ability is still there, right? So he's drawing 2 cards, including gold, for both players. Yes. But you have a 10 drop right there, a 10 gold drop with that. So this, if you're playing a deck, this is really useful for all of the decks which require a specific card to be in your hand, because you're increasing the number of cards. Sure, in both players, but if you're looking for a specific card or you really need to have a good number of cards to be able to play, then this is a very, very interesting and very useful card for a lot of types of decks.
Someone is asking in chat, what does Behemoth do now? So Arrakis Behemoth still does the same thing. It spawns a little Arrakis whenever a consumability is happening. But the cool thing is that he has armor, which is something new. And armor is not only exclusive, as we talked only about, like we talked about armor being the staple in Northern Realms. Well, it's also across other factions, and here we have an example of it. Of course, yeah, he has an armor now.
Yeah, and this is useful because you play the Arrakis Behemoth and he's there for the whole round, and we needed to make him a little bit harder to remove, right, without adding more value to his, because he's already a powerful card, but we needed to be a little more difficult to remove, and that's where armor comes in, where you can basically make him a 7, but only 5 of that counts towards the total for your score.
I like that, really. A lot of people are asking about the Wild Hunt archetype, and we could probably talk a little bit about this. I know a lot of players were unhappy with the way Eredin worked. Eredin is now a leader that is exclusive for Wild Hunt, and there's a couple new Wild Hunt units that have the Wild Hunt tag, and you can make a whole deck around this, and I really like it. And if you could just tell a little bit briefly what's happening with Eredin and how he works right now.
So yes, there's a new card, which is the Wild Hunt Navigator.
Yeah, the Navigator. If you saw our announcement today about the date, the art on it was with the Navigator. It's actually a she, if I remember correctly.
I think we can probably show the Navigator.
We could probably show it somewhere here. Sorry for the scrolling. Watch out for your eyes. Oh, we missed her.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh yes, there he is.
Boom. I really like this card.
So there's a synergy now, which you will see later on, about having a a good amount of Wild Hunt units on the board, right? And this is why the Navigator and Eredin are both choosing which ones you want to spawn, because there are some of them that do something when all three of them are there, and there are other things that work like that. But this one, I'd like to leave it for them to discover.
Yeah. Let's leave it for later. But there's a whole new cool archetype brewing for Wild Hunt
that works all together. Yes.
Yeah, you guys will see it next week, right? Next week.
Yeah,
soon.
It's pretty soon.
We can show the Premium Americas just by itself.
That's
Yeah. I see the little rat looking at it. Is like, dude, what's your problem?
What is this?
What is this? What is this weird thing?
So this, as we said, these you leave them in your deck generally, right? You play a consume, the Arcus Behemoth spawns one, and then brings all of these back from the deck, and this has remained the same, and it is still there.
Okay, Karen, let's go for
Karen.
Karen, best for last, let's say.
This is a real big, important tempo play, I would say. So basically what you do is you play him, you consume it from your hand, absorb its power, and then it also boosts itself by an additional 5.
Yeah, so it's a huge tempo swing.
Huge tempo swing. You're usually dropping usually a 20 point gold there, or more, even 22 sometimes, and this is what he's there for, right? A big gold card. Sure, you're losing a unit from your hand, but this really helps you play into the tempo. It really helps you sort of, if you have control of the second round, for instance, then you can play this and try for the card advantage from your opponent, etc., etc. We all know how tempo play works.
Yeah, exactly. Cool.
Yeah.
I think we went through all of them. So what? We have to show the best deck.
Yeah, this is the super OP deck number 7.
Emir. There we go.
Emir, and
take screenshots.
Here we go.
Boom.
Boom.
And the card. You were able to see a PAX East. Yep, it'll be there.
It'll be there.
like the glitchy music. Yeah, you see 3 variations of Roach. She can be either on top of the house, her head sticking out of the roof, or just flying into a tree, getting stuck on a tree. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah,
and Geralt's like whistling. I'm like, come on, Roach, you can do it, you can do it. Yeah.
Roach has mostly remained the same.
Yeah, there's one thing you told me that changed. Like, you can't now like destroy the poor Roach with the crazy Vilgefortz card.
Yeah. So he's coming a little later in terms of ability. So
it's like priorities are different than they used to be.
Different than used to be. So if you play Roach, you can't immediately summon him and then destroy him with Vilgefortz and stuff like this. You can still do it if you play Roach beforehand, or if you play another gold card, of course. But the abilities where you played the card, Roach comes, and then you can immediately do something with Roach. Same with Kayran. You can't play Kayran. Well, now not Kayran, of course. Now it's Unseen Elder. And it doesn't work anyway because it's leaders, right? So this excludes.
It's really cool that you decided not to. Some abilities not working with leaders, because leaders count as a gold card. But for some abilities, they will not summon Roach.
For Roach, yeah. That's how it works now.
Cool.
I think this is obviously one of the coolest, most loved premium cards.
Yeah, I remember when we first showed it at PAX, everybody was going crazy about it, and yeah, it's crazy, it's cool, and yeah, it kind of shows, going back to The Witcher 3, what Roach was most known for. Is crazy stuff. Yeah, we like to go back to those times and to that little joke. Cool. All right, I think we covered almost everything. If you could. Because I saw someone asking, I think we can show this card. If you could, from Deck Builder, go to our Super OP deck and go all the way back and show Yennefer the Conjurer.
Of course,
for a second. I remember her being 4. Yeah, the premium.
There we go.
I love this premium. Boom. Oh, I can watch that non-stop. Yeah.
Let's play it again.
Boom.
We could go forever with this, I mean.
Yeah. We could go crazy with those. Yeah. That's it. That's all we have planned for today. For sure, you guys will be able to check out Northern Realms. Northern Realms, like I said in the beginning, there's something that we still need to fine-tune with the faction, and I know you guys are working on it, so we won't be showing it today. But once public beta starts, you'll be able to see the cards, think of new strategies, and what I can say is I hope you guys like the game and its state. Of course, if you can, leave your feedback on Facebook, on Twitter, on our forums, official forums. It's always great to stop by there. I try to be everywhere, try to be on Reddit and listen to what you guys are saying. So the more comments, the better. All this stuff, as you probably see, is being translated into the game in some way. So we're all listening. I'm listening. Rethis is always listening. You guys are also listening. So yeah, we're trying to make the game as best as possible. So send your feedback. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. It was nice having you for the first time. Yeah. Like I said, Luigi probably made it right to Mahakam. I have to call him if he made it there with the family. Yeah, cool. And thank you for sending all the love and all the positive vibes. It really keeps us going, and we will always try to make the game as best as possible for you guys. So yeah, keep it coming. Cool. All right. Thank you, David.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Nice to see you
this time.
Yeah. We should do this again.
Definitely.
Yeah. Cool. Bye, guys.